If you're looking for best practices for your bank or credit union, join us while we talk all things sales, marketing, and strategy for financial institutions. Let's make it happen with FiGrow Solutions.
Hi there, I'm Meredith Olmstead, CEO and founder of FiGrow Solutions. We work with banks and credit unions on digital marketing and sales consulting, websites, content, all those different things to try to help regional institutions stay up to speed in the digital space these days. And I am here with one of our inbound marketing strategists, Kristen Mock. Say hi, Kristen. And Kristen also works with a lot of our clients around our website projects. And so one of the things that we were talking about recently is what is the value that our team brings to the table when it comes to website projects for our clients or for new clients at banks or credit unions. So I was like, well, let's hit record and talk about this because some of what she's learning is really insightful when it comes to the team that your institution puts together for your next website build, right? So, so one of the things that first thing I wanted to start out with is, Kristen, kind of explain our role to everybody when it comes to these big projects.
Sure. So the two really big pieces that we take care of is project management and then the website content. We typically work with a separate developer and then your financial institution. So those are kind of the three groups that we typically recommend.
Gotcha. So it's basically like, and the reason we do this is because we found over the years that you can get people who are experts in design and development in the website space, right? And those are the lanes you want them to stay in because that's what they know really, really well. The design, the aesthetic, the user experience to a certain extent, and then the development of that design. So like doing the back end, the HTML, all that kind of stuff. But what we have found over the years is that they don't know financial products and services. And so that was where we kind of jumped into the mix 3 or 4 years ago in a project management and content writing capacity for clients and started seeing that it was really working well. So the main thing that I have seen over the years in these projects is that our presence helps keep the whole project on time, basically. Like we push everybody involved on both sides and our own team to meet our deadlines. And it kind of takes the onus of kind of, knocking down people's doors off of the individual marketer at the credit union or the bank. And we kind of take on that role. But there's a few other benefits. And so we wanted to kind of dig into these a little bit around what are the main benefits of having somebody extra in the mix when it comes to project management and content? Like, why is it so important or why are we finding it so important for clients?
Yeah, I think to your point about keeping everything on time, you don't know what you don't know. So when you're working with a developer and a designer and they send you something that works really great for an e-commerce website, but it doesn't work really great for a financial institution website, that can slow things down. You can hit some roadblocks that you weren't expecting, and there's a lot more back and forth. But having somebody in the mix, having that third-party project manager is really helpful to say, these are the things that we need upfront, the things that as a financial institution, maybe you didn't know to not expect. And as a developer, they didn't realize that you needed that. So having somebody who's familiar with this process is really key to that part.
Yeah, you said definitely like just knowing the elements that really need to be on different pages on the website. You recently worked with a new developer and designer for a new client, and you were able to kind of like head off some mistakes before they went down that road of designing and developing pages that would have been missing so much. What were some of those things that they weren't planning for, or the menu, structure? What were some of those things that you learned that you were able to help fix very soon in the process?
When it comes to the website content, there's really kind of three main pieces to that. There's the on-page copy of actually writing the content that will be on your new website. And we're going to optimize that for SEO and brand voice. And then there's the menu and the site structure. And so that's where we've seen this developer and other developers who are used to building e-commerce websites try to add more layers into your menu and into the structure of your website than are needed for a financial institution. So an e-commerce website, for example, might have something like going into shopping for pants, shopping for a specific type of pants, and you're going to have 3 or 4 layers deep before you get to the actual products that you're
item.
going to
Yeah.
purchase. Right.
Mhm.
So for a financial institution, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have to go from the homepage into personal banking versus business, and then from there go into deposit products versus loans versus services, and then from there go into checking versus
To like
savings.
click,
Yes.
click. And it's like, that's not what that's not the user experience that you're trying to achieve. Right.
Right. And so maybe showing some of those layers, maybe organizing your mega menu into some of these personal banking products makes sense, but making sure that your free checking account or your rewards checking account are right there, because that user probably knows exactly what they're looking for and they don't need to click 6 times to get to
Yeah.
it. They know exactly that's the one I want.
Yeah. I remember you also mentioned when you were in the like site structure, like the phase of that new project, that there were some basic modules, some basic functionality that we build in automatically to a lot of product pages, for example, that this developer and designer weren't suggesting. And you brought that to the table and said, well, what about this? What about this? And they were like, oh, we hadn't thought about that. So it's, again, somebody who doesn't have the expertise around financial products and services might miss some of those elements. What are a couple examples of those types of modules that you want to make sure are in all of those pages?
Right. So a really big one for financial institutions is rate tables. And that's not common in other industries. But then on top of just having a rates table, also having the functionality to toggle that table to show rates for different products. If you were going to compare 2 or 3 products across the same page, you might want to see, I want to see the
Sure.
rates for a new car loan versus a used car versus a classic car. Your institution may have slightly different rates, but maybe not different website pages for products that are so similar. So having that functionality built in to see the rates tables and to toggle between them, and then to have disclosure text right below that. Disclosures is, common in a regulated industry like financial institutions, but not so much in other industries. So a developer may not realize that you're going to need disclosures all the way down your page versus putting all of them, lumping them all at the bottom of a page or one click away. That just doesn't work. And so those are things that our team is able to step in and say, we know we're going to need spaces for these, so we need to go ahead and build those in without the back and forth of asking for it later.
Yeah. I think there's really definitely a benefit we've seen for sure when you're because you don't also like the other thing is, though, a lot of people might say, well, why not just go to a website company that only works with financial institutions? We also kind of don't do that. I mean, most of the developers and designers that we work with multiple types of industries, and we kind of do that on purpose. Do you have thoughts around why you wouldn't want to go to an industry only website developer?
Sure. I mean, if you're a developer and you're seeing influences and trends across more than one industry, that can really influence and kind of help your institution benefit from what's going on in the website space and design as a whole versus being so siloed in just financial institutions.
Yeah, I think we see that, financial institutions tend to be slow adopters when it comes to new technology, new user experience. They tend to be a little bit behind the curve, which it's not a bad thing necessarily, but I think it is important to work with some people outside of your industry who can bring new ideas, new look and feel, new possible approaches to things into the mix with your team. But I think it's also really important to make sure that people there do understand the user experience and the compliance and the complexity of financial products and services. So it's kind of a little bit of a dance, to make sure that you have the experience for both. So awesome. Well, Kristen, this is super useful. Thank you so much. We love working with our website projects with you. And I know that that is like kind of one of your favorite things. So it's always fun to launch a new site and see how it does. So we appreciate all these tips. If you want to learn more about website development or digital marketing for banks and credit unions, please visit us at figrow.com. We have lots of great case studies, other blogs, and podcasts there for you to learn more and keep diving a little deeper. But otherwise, let's just get out there and make it happen.